Hello and welcome to the Roman Roads Podcast, Episode 2. I am Gilberto Roman Aguilar, the Roman half of the Roman Roads duo. Thank you very much for listening. Just a quick introduction before we begin this episode. Today we talk about the Jaegermeister logo and how it connects to a certain Catholic saint. Rhodes brings up the topic about horses' hooves and how they help filter blood. Very interesting talk. And then we talk about why we humans decide which animals are good to eat and which animals we keep as pets. The conversation does take a bit of a rough and dark turn. I apologize to all you sensitive listeners out there, but thank you for sticking with us. I need to apologize again for the audio quality on this episode. Still trying to figure out our new equipment. Oh, and look who just walked in the door. We got Joseph here with us, our associate producer. How you doing, brother? All right, so you're in the intro for the episode 2. All right, you'll get to meet him later on in one of the future episodes. But again, sorry for the audio quality on this episode. Still trying to figure out mics and stuff. So I hope you enjoy this hour, and here we go.
Welcome to the show. I'm Rhodes, and this is
The other guy. Yeah, so here we are again. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty
Rhodes?
good. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the new mics. Well, not the mic, but we got a new, what is this thing?
It's a audio interface. We got some new equipment here, so we're testing it out.
Let us know if you can tell the difference. We appreciate it. If you followed us from the last one, thanks again. But if not, let's just jump right into it. So we got some topics. What were we talking about again?
Well, I wanted to share something with you first.
Ooh.
You said you were in a drinking mood, weren't you?
I've never said that in my life. What is this?
All right, well, no, listen, I got this.
I've never drank water.
This
I
past
don't swallow
weekend.
my own spit.
You don't?
No,
Why?
it's impure.
So you spit it out?
Yeah, your
Well, that's
body knows
spit
to
it.
generate more.
That's why it's called spit, not swallow, right?
Ha! Terrible.
That is terrible.
What do we got?
For Father's Day, I got this bag.
Oh, that's so sad.
Just the bag. For some
Oh,
reason,
no.
yeah, it was this bag that holds a bottle of whiskey, nothing in
Ooh,
it.
What? Seriously?
Yeah, they just gave us the bag. They gave us other things, little tokens.
Party laugh.
But they gave us this bag, which I was proud of because the night before I got this a bottle.
A giant bottle.
I was gifted a bottle of tequila.
Yes, and it is called. I love it. El Perro. It's
No,
a little-
not el perro, el perrito.
Oh.
And it has a chihuahua on it.
I didn't see. Well, that is a little black chihuahua on it. It is adorable.
So interesting story. Well, not that interesting. I got invited to a wedding on Saturday, but I did not know the bride or the groom.
That's weird.
Yeah,
Who did you know there?
I knew the aunt of the groom.
Okay.
I play in the church choir on Sundays, the Spanish mass, and then so
Wait, singing?
I play the bass guitar.
Ooh, we
Yeah.
need to pop that out someday.
Yeah. And maybe with this new audio interface, we can do some
Ooh,
audio
we're
recording.
not getting
right?
paid for it yet, so you can stop bringing it up.
All right, I'll
People
drop that.
know it sounds good.
So they invited us to play at the mass for the wedding, and we're like, yeah, sure. We don't know who's getting married, but anything for your family. Your family's cool.
Let's be honest. Anything for a party.
Well, we didn't think we were gonna get invited for the party. Even if when we were there for the wedding, we were like, we're not
Just
getting
staying
invited.
there. They don't
We're gonna
wanna
have to go to Whataburger
They don't want
afterwards.
to hang out.
Everybody in the choir were like, yeah, we're gonna have to go to Whataburger. But then they extended an
I love that.
invitation.
It went from we're gonna have to go to Whataburger to we're gonna get to go to Whataburger.
we were starving. It was a long day.
Win-win.
So we played at the mass for this couple, Elizabeth and
Do we need to give out the names?
I don't know.
This
Well,
guy
I
did.
don't know the last
Isn't
names, but
You just
that's the
showed-
thing. I didn't even get to congratulate them. They seem like a
Wedding
nice
crash.
couple. I hope y'all have a happy, successful marriage and live into your old and all that, romantic
All the
stuff and
good
all that, all
stuff.
the good stuff,
Yeah, thanks for letting us crash in your wedding.
So
Much
basically,
good.
it
Food was good.
kind of felt like we crashed because then afterward they invited us, the choir, to the reception. We got to. It was interesting because it was like a traditional Mexican wedding.
How is that
and then-
interesting? It's traditional.
Well, that's not the interesting part. They served
Cool.
chicken parmesan and fettuccine alfredo for dinner.
Ooh.
It was delicious, but not what I was expecting. But
Because you're racist. We're not
I'm-
allowed to. If we eat other people's food, then it melts our insides, like the Wicked Witch of the East drinking water.
Well, listen, I'm from Mexican descent. All my family's weddings that I've been to, it's always been brisket, rice, and beans,
Which
man.
part of Mexico
Or
is this
tamales.
from? What do they call that? How they cut up Mexico into little quadrants?
Yeah.
The descent.
We're from the Aztec region, man.
That is just trying. Everybody says
Puros
that.
Indios,
Name
man.
any other tribe there. Because
The Mayans.
Oh my
the
God.
Nahuatl.
The big
That's the
two.
language that they
Okay,
spoke.
that's cool. I'll give you credit for saying their names.
The
Most people
Nahuatl.
just know those two basic ones. There's probably a million tribes.
There was the
everyone's connected to.
Incas, the Mayans, the Aztecs, we're getting off topic, aren't we?
We're not. You just ran out of names. I'm talking to you. Admit it. I don't know.
Damn it! I was trying to change this.
There's the big ones that we know. We don't know them all because it's like, let's be honest. We're the side tribes. You know, if we weren't, we'd have been all conquistador.
Yeah.
Considering how light my skin is, I might be slightly conquistador.
Well, there is Spanish blood in
Mike is highly conquistador.
What?
You know Mike?
Mike?
Yeah.
You know Mike? Oh yeah, of course.
He'll be introduced some point.
Yeah.
One of them.
Anyway, so we got a nice dinner, and then they brought us a round of beers, which is great. I'm not a big beer drinker, but I said, hey, why deny the?
Why be
sober?
Offer?
Yeah. So we had a beer. And then they brought us a bottle of tequila. So like they brought it to us like right before everybody on our table decided, it was time to go. So we drank a little bit, but then I was the one who brought it home, even though I'm the one who drinks less. So
I think your body's telling you is like clearly, you know, we need to change how we do things.
Yeah, so now I have this bottle of tequila, the Perrito. So I was gonna ask if you wanted to want some. You want to pour in your cup? In here we got some. Whatever we got.
Ice. This looks like this is definitely a mixed tequila.
Yeah, it's not the best tequila, but it gets the job done.
That's the thing about tequila, though. Not the best one. Sometimes that is the best one. That's what I'm looking for. When I drive up to a gas station, I'm not looking for, is the premium pump filled? Is the super pump filled? Or is the diesel filled? No, I just want regular. I don't know why they call it regular. They should call it original.
Original. There you go. Original. I don't like when people use the word regular.
Unless you have I don't know. I've heard that if you have a high performance vehicle, then definitely use Super and Plus and whatever that. But a guy just recently told me if you have fuel injected, that you should use those. And I don't know if I believe him. I've also heard, I don't know if this is an old wives' tale, if somebody puts sugar or something in your car, that you should put Super in it to help clear it out.
Or is that true?
That was a big pour of tequila.
It's a
bit
big
of whip. Let's
see
about the tell us.
I have what is this? A 64? No, this is what 64 ounce.
Goodness.
Soda.
All right, that's a very very nice flavor to it.
Not the best, but it's good. Gets the job done.
That is such a rich description.
All right.
Highly.
So yeah, it's good. So it was a good.
Birds.
Are you a liquor drinking man?
Yeah, I like it. I just drink it all day. Spilled it on me.
Are you okay? Oh, Roach just spilled.
You just called me Roach. That's not my name.
I did not call you Roach. I said Rhodes. Jeez, we barely started drinking this tequila, and I think it's getting to us.
It's already poisoned and cursed.
By the way, we're recording this podcast at midnight.
So
it is midnight our
make
time.
It extra
so it's been a long day for both of us.
A little bit more about the flavor.
Yeah.
Story of that. All right, so very alcoholic front taste. Had a interesting, I guess, would you still call it a bouquet? The smell had sort of that alcoholic fumey vibe to it, but not quite as strong. It had very interesting flavor in there. And a very pretty decent, very burny mid taste. But after that, as it starts dissipating, it actually dissipates very quickly. Yeah. And is not that unpleasant by itself. Now, I imagine I did take sort of a straight taste, not a shot, just a taste of it. That could be a bit overwhelming at first.
Yeah. But
But surprisingly, it mixes pretty well with Coke, flavor-wise.
It does. It's pretty good.
Still has a lot of fumes in it. Like, I wish I had a lighter.
Do you normally drink tequila?
Actually, I think this might be the entire time of my life, maybe the 5th time I've ever had it.
Really? I'm more of a tequila drinker than beer or anything.
I've been more curious about trying it for cultural reasons, getting a little bit more used to it. Yeah. I know, okay, so from, what is it, Patron on up. Patron's considered, of the high-end brands, kind of a lower-end tequila by a lot of snobby people. And, I guess people, let me just not throw everyone under the bus. People who appreciate their liquors and, like, spirits and, like, talking about them. I'm not gonna bash them either way, but I know they get. Apparently, it's known for its flavor, so you're supposed to, just sort of sip it by itself, or maybe mix a little lime or salt. I don't know if that would be.
I just saw a commercial for some Mexican, like traditional brand tequila, and they were like, it's the Mexican Chardonnay. Just drink it in a wine glass.
Really?
Yeah, that's how they're
supposed to like put your face in it and smell it too, and all that too.
I don't think that.
Was this like a joke one? Like how?
It was a legit commercial for this brand.
No. That beer, champagne of beers.
It was kind of,
Is it like that joke?
Kind of like that.
The champagne of beers.
Champagne.
So, let's get off that subject pretty quick.
Speaking of alcohol, you've tried Jaegermeister before, right?
I've had it.
What would you prefer, Jaegermeister, tequila? What's your go-to drink?
I don't have a go-to. That's pretty much like, it's, I'm around a party or something, and I used to partake. I haven't really. Oh man, it's been really months now since I've had like a solid drink of any type.
Really?
But the thing liked about Jaegermeister is the taste. I know a lot of people don't. I liked it. It sort of tasted kind of like cough syrup, but I had it once mixed with.
I remember that. Yeah,
we went out. Delicious.
Have you ever seen the logo on the Jaegermeister bottle?
No. Whenever I bought it, I shaved off the label while not looking at it because I like to be like a TV show, liquor cabinet in my room where there's no labels, just the bottles.
You've seen the label, right, with the deer and the cross.
Yeah, the circle around
it. You hear that supposedly it was supposed to be like a joke that said it was like, "Oh dear God," because like you get drunk
because how high the alcohol content
for the circle. Yeah, but do you know the story behind the Jaegermeister logo?
Tell me the story behind the Jaegermeister.
I'll tell you the story behind the Jaegermeister.
But first, I will tell you this: and everybody needs to look up the Jaegermeister love song by Psycho Stick.
Oh
awesome
yeah,
band, awesome song.
Psycho Stick.
Jaegermeister love song. Check it out; it's pretty funny. If you got headphones on, maybe you turn the volume down. It's gonna sound quiet at first, but it gets pretty loud quickly. Jaegermeister, give me the history of it.
Well, the Jaegermeister logo for those non-drinkers out there,
just
Google or underage.
What do we got to describe it all?
It's a deer with a cross in between its antlers, and a circle around it. So this actually,
logo.
This comes from a saint. I don't know if you knew that.
Oh no, I did not.
You didn't know that?
Why would I know that?
I don't know. I didn't know that until I saw a thing on Facebook about it, and I was reading about it. It comes from Saint Hubertus, or maybe Hubert.
Wait, Hubertus. I think I've heard of that. That's from Harry Potter, right?
Maybe. No, that was Albus.
Oh, okay. Okay, go on.
This guy was a Christian saint, okay? He was Bishop of Liege around 708 AD.
Other religions have saints?
No.
Okay.
Not in the way that
just
Roman Catholicism does.
No, I think Buddhism might have saints. Are types of it.
I don't think they really call them saints.
They're not called saints, but it's sort of the same premise of there's stepping stone between. No, not even prophets. Prophets they do have as well, but no, there's also a sort of in between step that sometimes people have reached, like gurus and other after they've died.
Yeah.
And I've heard. I swear. And it might have been an anime, which tends to mash things up, but I swear that I've heard them refer to a dead monk who died specifically for the sake of dying to like give blah blah something a saint. So I'm gonna go by that cartoon.
Well, I'll have to look up.
That'll be something interesting later. All right, so the Saint Hubertus.
Yeah, he is the patron saint of hunters.
Ooh.
And basically, this guy he had a kind of bad life, not bad life, but he had some bad luck. He had gotten married, and then his wife had died.
I see what you're talking about.
Yeah. Right well, it gets worse. He had got married. His wife died while in labor.
Ooh,
so he kind of like retreated into the forest.
It sounds like it's starting to Beauty and the Beast, like a dark version.
It's kind of fairy tale-ish. So his wife died, and then he like went and withdrew into the forest. Forest are deans, and basically then he just like dedicated himself to being a hunter. Okay. Basically, back then that's all that's all you could do. I mean, you couldn't
it's like that was a legitimate career choice. It's not as withdrawn as you would be now. It's like I'm just gonna go head first into my job. Think about that. What year was this?
This was the 700s.
Oh, okay, yeah, totally, yeah, man. That's a good profession. That means he had to have owned land to hunt on, wouldn't it?
I don't know.
I think so.
I didn't read about all that. So.
And I mean, think about it. He's getting more meat than he could eat. Getting tons of furs like that. That's a pretty good living.
Oh, yeah.
Basically, he just said, "I'm gonna dedicate my life to a career," and like he's probably that sounds like money to me. Go on.
Well, story goes that on a particular Good Friday morning, that's the Friday that we celebrate the crucifixion of Jesus. While everybody was going to church and being pious, he went into the forest.
Oh, okay, back in the day.
Back in the day.
Recently. Got a bit lost.
No, this is in the 700s.
Okay, so everybody went to the forest.
Everybody went to church. He went to the forest to go hunting. And while he was hunting, he saw a stag.
That's staggering.
That is staggering. He was about to go in for the kill when the stag turned around and looked at him. Like, just paused and turned around and looked at him. And he saw a vision of the cross in between the stag's antlers. Okay? And then he heard a voice that said, Hubert. I'm going to say Hubert. I think that's right.
That takes away all the seriousness of the story.
Hubert.
You're painting this beautiful picture, slightly ominous.
But that's his name.
Hubert.
I don't know.
Turn around, Hubert.
Okay, it says, unless thou turns to the Lord and leads a holy life, thou shalt quickly go down into hell.
Dang.
So from that moment on, then he said he believed the Lord was speaking to him. So he said, Lord, what would you have me do? And he told him to go and seek Lambert, and he will instruct you. So he will instruct you.
This is all out of Harry Potter.
This is interesting story.
You know what it sounds like? It sounds like he was hunting on someone else's property, and he's like, all right, this guy's a great hunter. I can't confront him directly. He will murder me. I'm going to mess with his head. All right, boom. Sets up the, he's just like, tracks down. It's his best stag. Ties up a cross between it with some like thin wire or cloth, and he tracks it. And
it's
then
like a Sherlock Holmes kind of mystery.
The whole thing, and like whenever he's sneaking up on it, he's like click clacks, and it was like, all right, I'm gonna tell this guy to go to church, so we'll leave my stuff alone. Boom. Change your life.
Whether it was a vision from God or whether it was a parlor trick from whoever owned the land, this Hubert, he dedicated his life to God for the rest of his life, and then after he died, he became a saint, and he became the saint of hunters. And so Jaegermeister decided to put that image of the stag with the cross to his antlers as a sign of like purity, and kind of like that the beverage is of high quality. And it's kind of like putting the stamp on, like a stamp on it, saying, this is...
Now, I know that's a German beverage, and I believe a big chunk of Germany is pretty religious. Mm-hmm. But if you could look at my face while he was telling the story, there's a very disbelief. I don't know what's worse. Either that's a crazy story, or that's legit.
Jaegermeister,
and I don't know which is worse. That they decided.
Jaegermeister means master hunter. That's the connection.
Oh yeah, well I know what Jaeger meant because of Pacific Rim, and I knew what Meister meant because of Rammstein. Mm-hmm. So I knew that. I just didn't have the information together and know it. But the potential for that knowledge was in my head. Is what I'm saying.
Well, okay, and this is the thing. Okay, the label for Jaegermeister contains a verse from Weidmeister.
That sounded close to me.
Weidmeister. It's a poem. By the hunter Oscar von Reisenthal.
I'm so glad that you're accurately pronouncing these names.
I try my best, man.
South Texas. You know what though? Texas has a pretty good sized German population.
Oh yeah, the German hill country.
To be fair though, I don't think they're actually like German. Like I don't know how many of them actually still speak German. But maybe they'll appreciate us trying to pronounce their words correctly.
Well, I saw a movie, a German movie in Germany where they spoke German. Ooh. And it was all about this guy he was a fantastic polka accordionist, but then he listened to Zydeco. Did you see the movie?
Was that the one where he
Schultz
retired from
the blues?
Yeah, and he retires from a salt mine.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
And then
pretty good movie. Real chill.
Yeah, he hears Zydeco music, so he starts playing Zydeco music, and then they send him as kind of an ambassador.
I like the way you explained everything except what Zydeco music is. What is that?
Listeners, you know what Zydeco music is.
Of course. Right? We don't. That's why we don't have to explain it.
It's Cajun, traditional Cajun music, I think. That's all I know, because I really don't. I feel like if I try to explain it, I will mis-explain it.
All right, so
but anyway, and then he comes to Texas, to New Braunfels, because the city that he lives is a sister city of New Braunfels. So I guess he was living in Braunfels. Old Braunfels. And now he comes to New Braunfels.
Then there's New Braunfels, which made the original Braunfels, Old Braunfels.
Yeah, it's like New York, man, because there's York.
There's York.
And there's New York.
Yeah.
There was England. There's New England.
There's
Mexico. Braunfels in Mexico. New Mexico.
Yeah.
Braunfels and New Braunfels.
Heck yeah, man. All this stuff.
Any of you listeners from New Braunfels?
Nobody cares. All right, so go on. So, all right.
Okay, so there's a poem on the label for Jaegermeister.
Oh, that's so lovely.
It is the hunt. Translated from German to English. It is the hunter's honor that he protects and preserves his game, hunts sportsmanlike, honors the creator in his creatures.
Ooh,
so I guess it's kind of a thing. Maybe like Jaegermeister was originally like, a hunter's drink, or kind of like that. Kind of
like Coors Light. Yeah.
Now this is how society is falling.
Does it have
drinking Coors Light?
Does it have it in German? I want to try and read it in German.
It does have it in German.
Let us try to read it in German.
It's right there.
All right. Das ist des Jägers Eschenchild. Dat rüden Boschgrün und Hagen sind wild. Weiter schmeckt Jagd. Wein, Schicks, Gott. Des Kuffenhain. Ein bisschen Freund Art. Oh, that's just poetic.
Sounds like a Mel Brooks movie, dude.
That's a compliment. Here, I will take that. Beautiful language. Oh, beautiful language. That is just majestically written.
Yeah.
It's sweet. Wait, I've never... So, all right, on the label, is it in English or German?
It's in German on the label.
That would explain why I've never seen it. Heard it or cared.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's interesting.
It is interesting. I will give you that. Also, I'd heard that apparently the shape of those bottles, or that particular shape, was designed so that people could use them as bricks during whenever I guess it was war times, that they're square so you could lay them down evenly. Yeah, the poor times. Yeah, it was right before they got all Third Reichy. And then it's like, we'll forget about that part. Let's cover that in a different episode.
Yeah, so if y'all guys...
That's what I heard. You got to share your story about the Saint of Booze. Jeez.
Saint of Booze.
I just wanted to share an interesting structural story about structural engineering built into our beverages. You can look it up.
That's clever. I mean, that's recycling gone to the ultimate level.
They do that. They use regular round bottles in other third world countries. So we keep wrap it up. So basically, they'll put the bottles in the wall, put mud around it, let it dry up, keep doing it in layers and layers, and it works as a type of air insulation. So I think that's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. I mean, this is a good way to recycle.
Upcycling.
There you go.
So, let's change the topic. You want to talk about the horse filters?
Horse filters?
Horses,
what the heck are horse filters?
They're the horse's feet that filter things.
Well, you just said the horse filters.
That's what they do.
What is that?
That's what they do. Hold up. Okay.
This tequila is getting to
No, it's not. I haven't had any of it. You, sir, are trying to besmirch my name with your besmirchment. Good name for a beverage, by the way. Okay, so check this out. So basically, horses, underneath the horse's hoof, it has like, instead of it being, I don't know, like goo and stuff, it looks like sort of fibers and stuff. I'm trying to think of what it looks. It looks like a bunch of nerves, but what it actually is, it's like it looks like something from underneath the ocean. Like have you ever seen like a whale's teeth? Almost like the grilly. Like look, horse.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically what it is though is they have
baleen whells that have those little
the teeth. The way those work.
Teeth.
Yeah, but they're not actually teeth. It works more like a filter too, like that. It's like a bunch of on a broom.
Yeah.
How the broom, but made out of like tissue. Yeah, bristles. Like they're bristly in there. And what it is it's a filter. So basically, when they move, it pumps blood through that section, and it separates like toxins, other contaminants, and works as a filter for their blood. And I think
in their feet,
in their hooves, in the very hoof of their foot, and it like separates 2 ounces of it processes 2 ounces of blood per step. So that doesn't seem like a lot, but think about how much a horse runs a day. So basically, their foot works like an organ. That's one of the reasons, I guess, whenever they damage them, it's so they're pretty much dead, because it's not just losing a regular limb like us. It's it's part of an organ, and you can't just I've seen horses that didn't have them and it works, but it is a lot more damaging to them whenever they lose a leg than it is to whenever pretty much other animals lose legs.
Yeah.
Like
I never knew that.
I never heard either. I've heard about that recently. Somebody was trying to gross me out on the internet and sent a picture of it. And
so are horseshoes a way to like protect that? Then like horses are racing and stuff? Or
I didn't Google it that far, but no, it's not just for running. Horseshoes, I think, are more like, because I guess rocks and stones can kind of get up in that section and like cause pains by separating it. And I guess a horseshoe is supposed to sort of act as literal protection, as a little bit more of a barrier than they would have. Because horses predominantly in nature would run in grass, but humans, we make them run on roads and hard concrete places, and places where stones are more likely to sort of get up, I guess, into the cartilage or whatever the part is. The nail. I didn't research so much the hoof part itself as that stuff underneath the hoof. But
the original I think purpose for horseshoes was back in the cowboy times. The cowboy times.
We're still in the cowboy times.
You get the horse going up a mountain, or when you're cattle herding. And
exactly.
Cattle drive. So you go. You wouldn't know. You wouldn't have time to check the terrain.
Exactly. Well, even then, you're taking them to places they would not normally go.
Yeah.
Horses do not like to climb mountains and such. They like fields where they can eat things.
Why don't they use goats for stuff like that? Because goats like to climb mountains.
I don't think most goats can carry most dudes.
That's true.
You know what? Oh, okay. I found a picture of it. Horse hoof structure. Look at this.
Wow, that is crazy. You guys got to Google this.
Oh my god. So Google horse hoof without hoof. All right, or if you don't want to, because it could be.
Oh, okay. So that's basically.
If you're sensitive, maybe not. It is.
That's interesting. Okay, but so what it looks like is like, the horse hoof. Imagine like it would be your fingernail. And
no. This is gonna caution to sensitive viewers. This description is gonna be pretty intense.
If you ever had a fingernail fall off, that's what it looks like, but on a horse's hoof.
There's no hoof. That's worse than that.
The more I look at it, the more disturbed I am.
Actually, the more I looked at it, the less I became disturbed. And maybe it's just because I was so interested in it. And you can sort of see how it's lighter at the top and darker towards the end. And I wonder if that's working as it's depositing, or I'm wondering if maybe it sort of deposits the toxins into the nail itself. So, it's a soft tissue. Yeah, it's just really weird, man. It almost seems like what a tooth would look like if you took the tooth, what is it? What do you call it? Enamel?
Enamel?
Yeah, off of it. It looks like pretty bad. Like, I feel bad for this horse. I hope that they were just putting.
That's what I was gonna ask. Why does this horse not have a hoof?
I'm assuming that they were either treating it or it could be possibly a dead horse. But very interesting. Like, I did not know. I just thought maybe people were being jerks back in the day. They didn't want to, like, oh, well, now it's useless to me, and don't want to take the time to nurture this animal back to health. But now I see much more complicated than that.
But they nail the horseshoes to the horse's hoof. Does that not cause any damage?
I'm sure it does. I mean, it has to. Oh, look, there's more pictures.
Oh, goodness.
Oh, wow, that is intense. Yeah, all right, you can look more into this if you want.
Don't. I wouldn't.
But okay, it's Google. All right, so let's find out. All right, so wait, why do horses need shoes? Google. Why do horses need shoes? So they can dance. Oh, it says domestic horses do not always require shoes. When possible,
really,
a barefoot hoof, at least part of every. That was poorly written. Basically,
when possible, a quote-unquote barefoot hoof, at least for part of every year, is a healthy option for most horses. However, horseshoes have their place and can help prevent excess or abnormal hoof wear and injury to the foot.
Okay, but it seems to be pretty much like the reason there'd be abnormal wear to the foot is because we're making them walk on stuff they're not supposed to walk on. Yeah, like they are made to run and walk on soft grounds. And it's like us, like, you know, we're not supposed to walk. That's why we have shoes. Literally, that's why we have shoes. Other animals aren't supposed to have shoes. Delicate creatures designed for specific reasons and purposes. We're just there making them walk on things. Way too much information about this stuff. All right, more reasons. According to Wikipedia's. All right, so apparently a lot of people do think any charge brought about by all right, so it's part of domestication. They said it results in hooves hardening less and being more vulnerable to injury. In the wild, a horse may travel up to 50 miles per day to obtain basically get enough food. So horses in the wild cover large areas of terrain. They do this at slow speeds unless they're being chased by a predator. Yeah, and they're just sort of walking around chilling. And they also tend to live in, arid, steppy climates. What is that?
Area what?
I don't know what this word is. It was fancy. It probably means
adequate.
Normal.
Is it adequate?
No, it's arid, steppy. I read it right. It just sounds weird.
Steppe. It's a type of topography.
I know what it is. I just don't know why it's unnecessarily fancified. Like shopping. Or whenever a town has Towin, they throw an E in there. Fun fact, whenever there's an E at the end of the word town, that's an old Gaelic word meaning ritual sacrifice. Gaelic being from... Yeah, man. Because I guess a lot of those people back in the day, like in England or what used to be Britannia, even farther back then when they were natives themselves, the local religions tend to revolve around, local priests or what would they call them? The British wizards and stuff.
British wizards?
You know what I meant? Merlin, fool. That's what they were.
Sorcerers?
No, there was another word. Druids. The Druids.
Druids?
Yeah, and they did a lot of sacrifice.
Some Harry Potter stuff, man.
It is. That's exactly where it's from. That's why it's from there. But I'm saying, yeah, they did a lot of ritual sacrifice back in the day. You can still go into like their bogs or like their swamps where there's like mud and water and it still keeps out oxygen. And after they'd sacrifice people, or sometimes they would sacrifice them by throwing them into these things with wreaths around their necks and other like oils and things prepared for them. For things like good harvests and wars not happening. Either way, funny words aren't necessary in modern times. We should speak like normals.
We know the word ye, like as in ye old.
No, I'm talking about shop. Ye older than that.
But you know that word ye? It's not pronounced ye. It's pronounced the.
Really?
Yes.
So basically, back in the day, sounded a lot more normal than we're making it out.
Yes.
I've heard that the accents were actually closer to American English than they are to British English.
At a time, yeah.
How funny would that be?
And then the British just added the
fancy to separate the royals.
Posh.
Yeah. And then there was it the people below them, or the lower classes, the peasants, if you will, decided to copy it.
If y'all are interested, go to YouTube and look up the videos. Today I found out they have a whole bunch of every day they post a video about history. Have you seen these videos?
No, I've not.
Very interesting in history, science stuff, and it's just like random stuff that you never thought about.
I have a feeling this is going to come up in the podcast quite a bit.
Yeah, well, they did that about the language, about ye, and then about how contractions like won't, can't, ain't. They're not as modern as people think they are.
Oh.
That they really have an old history, and even the first contractions were very different than modern contractions. But people use contractions, and we have this thing where like we see a lot of movies where back in the day, even like as close, why say as close to, but like in the westerns where everybody's speaking properly and say will not, won't not, and won't not. That is a contraction.
What occurs to me?
Will not, can't, cannot. They did use contractions. Can't, ain't.
We're copying
won't.
the people who wrote books about those times, who at the time would have had better education than the people who just were going about talking.
The thing was, it was acceptable in speech, but not acceptable in writing. So that's why we get the whole idea that people didn't use contractions.
So time travelers are a lot more set than they thought they'd be. They'd just be like, welcome ye old I am thine cousin. It's like, why are you talking like a mental person? To Bedlam with you, sir. To Bedlam. With no accent whatsoever, because that's how they talked, like us. So all this time, basically, Doctor Who should be shot in America when they go to the past, just to annoy any possible Brits. That would be fantastic. So, okay, Doctor Who is a British television program that's super popular worldwide now, but had a very strong fan base in England. It's been like one of the oldest sci-fi shows running
since the 60s, I believe.
Farther, I believe, and I say believe because I do not know.
I think it was.
They're like basically their Star Trek. You know, a lot of people love it. They love the themes of it and such. And I think in the early 2000s, late 80s, because I don't feel like researching it, they tried making an American version. I believe the Doctor himself would have been British. They made a pilot. I think you can find it online. Of course you can. It's online. Yeah, but I'm guessing
everything's online.
More American actors, and it's like, wow, we would have created the more official version. People wouldn't accept it because we have it stuck in our minds. Back in ye olden times, ye was ye instead of the, like a normal. They're using contractions like king, aunt, and y'all. I want to go up to like the Duke of Yorkshire, and be like, "Excuseth thine lord, whereth beeth the?" And he's like, "Y'all need to get your craziness out of here. Go. I can't take this craziness from you. I'm rich. You're poor. Get on here."
But they would have like a southern American accent. Yeah, get out of here.
What if they had the Southern American accent? That would be fantastic. Only now, and for no other reason, do I want to time travel to hear funny voices that sound like us.
Okay, Doctor Who was started in '63. I'm trying to look up for this.
Okay, well, no, look. So what I found about horse feats, basically I was right. And domestication makes them use their, makes them run and walk different than how they would. So it messes up. That's what wears out their feet. And we see it here in the South. A lot of people training their horses on the side of the road. Sometimes you'll see them with bags of cans attached, and so that they get used to, startling noises. But it also helps them wear their feet in a certain way. But yeah, it makes sense. There's some really complicated dance moves that horses can do. I don't know if you know.
Yeah,
horses can dance.
Yeah,
well, our fans probably might not. If you're from around other places, they can teach them techniques and how to do different steps. And while it looks amusing, it is very unnatural for them to move that way. Like bears riding unicycles. It's possible. You can find footage of it happening, but they are not happy about it. Or elephants. Didn't they make elephants run around on
balance on balls
and crazy stuff?
All this crazy stuff.
They are terrifically skilled and intelligent animals that we abuse for our amusement. We're getting better about it. We're learning that is
but
bad.
Not natural, right?
Exactly. Like so many things that we do.
Speaking of horses, there's I think it's called an equestrian center out here near Natalia, out here where we live.
In case you want to find us because you're mad at us, let us know.
Yeah, let us know. And they do horseback riding stuff. It's supposed to have been there for a while.
That makes sense.
I'm interested in going to check it out just to see what kind
else would you do at a equestrian club, unless it was like an equestrian / gourmet place. I'd be like, all right, we're gonna go Italian here. That reminds me, just to show sort of how we approach animals differently. We sort of, beat them for our amusement here. Back in the day, not as much anymore. Vegans would disagree. There was a store. This lady was visiting Italy, and she was looking for baby food. So she went to the store, and she was found the baby section, and she found one that had a picture of a horse on it. She figured it was like, oh, it's a mascot. So she's walking down the aisle, and she sees a few others.
In the baby section.
Baby food section, the mushy baby foods. And she sees another one with a picture of a chicken on it, and some vegetables. And there's another with the picture of a cow on it, and some vegetables, and some other with just... And that's whenever it hits her that the picture of the horse was because it was an ingredient, not a mascot.
It was baby food.
Made of horse. They say because they eat horse feet.
That's interesting.
Not horse feet, just horses in general. They eat their meat. And I think there's parts of Mexico where it's fairly common. Also parts of...
I've heard a guy I used to work with who was from Mexico said that in a regional part of Mexico they would capture iguanas and eat them. They were delicacies and they would sell for a lot.
They taste like chicken.
I asked my mother-in-law about this and she didn't know what I was talking about.
It's all different regions.
So I don't know if what region it was.
To be 100% fair, there's parts of America where I'm sure it's not fairly common but not unusual. It's all because we were fed from different areas, and I mean too, you're hungry enough, you're gonna eat everything. Nothing against them. Would you try horse meat?
I would.
I mean, like
prepared
exactly
properly.
Well, yeah, and I'm not asking you to like next time we see one running down the road, let's chase them. Get a taste of that equine.
I am open to trying other foods.
I mean, like if somebody was like, I got a live horse here, you want me to murder it so you could eat it?
No, God,
no, don't do that. If I like stroll into a place and be like, oh, what's that? Oh, we got some seasoned pork over there. And like, oh, it's some like fish jerky, which they make. And then they're like, what's that? Horse? Like, I don't know if I'd buy it. Would you like to try it? I would try it. I don't think I'd pay for it, but I would try it.
What's the where's the line though, where like people say some animals are not?
It's all personal, 100%, because it's what you care about. It's the same way with like your stuff. If I saw a guy, tearing a chair apart and setting it on fire to warm himself, it's like, unusual, but I'm not gonna, be annoyed at him. But if it's my chair, very upset. It's like, you, sir, have broken the rules of society, and are you destroying it?
Because I had heard a story of a man. I don't know if this was in New York or where it was, but he was from another country. He was in New York.
Yeah, another country called New York.
Yeah.
So wouldn't it just be York? he was
from Old York, came to New York. No, and he was cooking squirrel or something like that.
Okay.
Out in a public park, like having a barbecue, grilling squirrel. And a lady saw him and thought that he was basically trapping the squirrels there on the park property and then killing them. So she called the cops on him. Cops came and looked at everything, but like I guess he had gotten the meat from a legitimate place. Yeah.
Wow.
And they said no, it's fine.
Why am I saying wow? I know people who eat. We call them what? There's that term. Whenever you basically like wild game, venison, and it would count. There's a different type. No, not just deer. It's other types of animal. It's like a sort of. We use it specifically for that, but it means other types of term. And I'm sure there's an extra term for like other types of varmints, like possum and game that you hit.
You listeners out there who are hunters, you might want to
let us know.
Let us know exactly, because we're not. We're not hunters. We're big eaters.
We will eat the foods.
Well, yeah, but we're not.
I actually remember there's
versed in the hunting.
I don't know if they still make this magazine called Texas Fishing Game. That was Fishing
I'm
Game
pretty
magazine.
sure.
But this one was specifically for Texas, and at the very end of it, they'd have recipes for wild game, different types of bird, and I remember squirrel was a specific one. So, and it was at a nice restaurant too, so not totally out there. There is also, connecting Old York and squirrel eating, it's a big campaign in England to start eating North American squirrels because there's an invasion of them in England.
In England? Yes. How the heck do the squirrels get over there?
The same way people bring pets or they're dumb and they were like, oh, it's so cute and fluffy. They have, and if you're familiar with certain old children's books, there's pictures of red squirrels, and maybe I think they use in some of the older Disney cartoons, you'll see red squirrels with sort of pointy ears. That's the native squirrel to that area, England, London, Britannia, whatever.
Great Britain.
And they would, basically, our squirrels have a disease that is harmless to them, but it's destroying the population over there. And people want to start wiping out the North American squirrel in that area, but it's hard to just get rid of the meat. And, they don't want to be wasteful, understandably, so they're trying to put it on the menu. It's all about what you think. I mean, you can.
That's true.
Is it a big rat? Is it a cute rat, or is it a slightly ugly rabbit? And some people would make. They're both all three are rodents, so officially. Okay, so what do you think? Where do you think the line should be? Is there specific animals that for no reason?
I don't know. I'm gonna always go back to in the Pulp Fiction where Samuel L. Jackson says, he doesn't eat pig because it's dirty, and he says, would you eat a dog? He says, no, dogs have personality. So I guess is it like animals that have personality? I mean,
but no,
I find it interesting, like the animals we choose to have as pets. There's some fish that we have as pets, but then there's some fish that go good in a fish sandwich.
All of them
fish
do.
taco.
If you cook them right, that's what the line.
Everything's delicious. I understand. There's some that like I don't know. I'm not advocating for let's go eat all these kinds of animals.
I am.
You are?
Yeah. We don't need to kill them. Why can't we clone the meat? That's coming up, the technology.
But I do find it interesting what people think is acceptable and unacceptable.
Yeah, that is definitely very interesting.
Because I know there was a case too where like these college kids, they had it in their minds that it was a good idea.
What you're talking about.
To eat a cat.
Yep, I remember this.
And it was some kind of protest.
No, it wasn't a protest. I think they were legitimately curious about it. They were like a part of a program studying like.
But wasn't it like to show like animal cruelty or something? It wasn't like some ironic message.
You know what? That sounds right. Just because you said college kids, it might have been like a protest to show what makes animals okay or not okay to eat.
And when I hear that story, though, to me that's disturbing.
What to clarify, so what was done was they hired a farmer to raise a cat. I don't know if he was doing it already or if he had a mill. But he got the cat and he was supposed to raise it so that it wouldn't get specific injections that could be harmful to it later. Then they even had him kill it, had someone else prepare it, and then they ate a cat. Now, it sounds disturbing because it is. We're designed. This is the animal that is specifically a pet. And of course, everybody's like, well, you wouldn't like it if somebody ate your pet. Exactly. I wouldn't like it if somebody burned my chair, but I wouldn't mind if someone burned their own. It's all, I guess, it's a cognitive dissonance. They might seem arbitrary to someone else, but this is how I've set my life up. Saying, these are my things. There are certain rules for them. Those are your things. There are different rules for them for me, and you could create your own. I don't need to be involved in them. Well, and like that almost I feel dismissive saying it, but there's so many different things to be offended about or to appreciate and like.
Yeah.
I kind of just got to go with the role, It's like I might not go out looking for dog food, or some animal, some cute, adorable animal to eat. If I was in someone's presence and they were offering me food happily, not just trying to be a jerk about it, like genuinely like, oh, my guest is hungry, I'd like to feed them. I don't want to offend them by turning it away. But what are the situations when that'll come up? I mean, I don't travel a whole lot. Okay, perfect example. A lot of Mexican food I'm not a fan of. Or I should say a lot of traditional Mexican food. As soon as I said that, people are like, don't you like burritos and tacos? Of course.
That's not
But there
that's
is
not Mexican.
exactly. So traditional
Well, yeah.
Mexican food, some of it can be very different. And while I might on my own try it slowly, if somebody offers it to me at their house, I will gleefully eat up as much as I can, smiling in front of them, because I want to be a gracious guest.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. And I would
That does no. I mean, I've had birria before, and that's
Tell me what that is.
that's roasted goat's meat. Or,
Oh.
yeah, goat meat.
No,
But it's like all the meat off the body.
Now that's a big example of one that's pretty in America. People think goats are cute, but
Yeah.
it is also very much a food animal. We drink its milk,
and
we eat its meat.
Yeah, but birria, that's kind of the traditional Mexican version of barbacoa.
Why'd you have to make me hungry? Oh, it sounds delicious. But people are thinking of the cute goats and like baba, whatever, that's a sheep. They're getting every cute animal that looks like a goat confused with it now. Sheeps and ewes and other things. But okay, so that's when you had trouble eating it because it was a cute animal?
No, I really liked it.
It's probably delicious.
It was weird. I knew it was weird to eat, but I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a good dish.
It's weird for culturally you because you're raised in America. We don't see them as on the menu very often, but it is. It's still there's many parts of America that eat goats.
Even in culinary school, we cooked rabbit for one dish. They showed us how to cook rabbit. So
I see more rabbits
I
than
guess
cows.
when I was in culinary school, when that happened, when we had to do that dish, I wasn't as freaked out for some reason.
Maybe I'm assuming the reason is you said I paid a lot of money to be here and I would like to be rewarded for that.
I'm still paying a lot of money.
And then you have student debts.
Yeah, but not.
Oh, man.
Thank God it's not as much as other people.
Those are like
Yeah, I'm still paying for it.
I'm lucky that I failed out early enough to not incur student debt. But the reason I didn't fail out of school, I didn't have enough student aid to go to school. My grades were fine, but it's like the money wasn't there. So I was like, "Oh, you're so poor. We know you're not going to be able to pay us back. Leave." Okay, and then there's also the matter of starvation. If you're in that extreme situation where you're going, not even full starvation, say you are truly hungry. Okay, if I found out someone, caught a rabbit on their yard and ate it, you're like, yeah, that's what you do. But then there's other animals, like, what about the ones we consider dirty, like possums, raccoons, armadillos?
Well, yeah, that's interesting. I have no problem eating pork.
Yeah.
And I know it's a dirty
Considered
animal.
the dirtiest animal considered by most cultures, but yeah, go on.
And I mean,
love
but
it.
other, I don't know. It's weird. It's a very weird topic. I guess a weird conversation to have. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna find out what other animals besides deer that Saint Hubert hunted, because that man became a saint. and if it was good enough for Saint Hubert, it's good enough for me.
He's gonna eat like swan or something, and you can eat swan legally. You can eat swan.
You can.
You can. You can look it up. It's like one of those fancy people dishes.
But
you can eat peacock. Peacock was real big in the Roman times, but modern times you can still raise peacocks to eat. A lot of it comes down to you have to raise them or kill them a certain way sometime. Same with you could serve deer in a restaurant, but it has to be killed in accordance with the Department of Meat and Other Animals getting killed and served to people.
Oh my goodness!
I
have a coworker who's vegan. I can only imagine if she would hear like conversation.
Well, maybe she doesn't get. Maybe she's legit.
I would like to get her.
Whoa!
No, get her thoughts on this.
Well, yeah. So people, and I'm not gonna bash any vegan because it's a personal choice, and you're also sometimes they see it as not a personal choice. They see it as trying to help out the planet, which I can understand. As much as I enjoy meat, if there was a tasteful and nutrient-filled substitute, then I'm more than down with it. But even on that subject, once you do that, I like how many farmers and other people lose their job.
You've heard of Soylent, right?
Green?
No, not the movie.
The powder. Yeah, I've heard a lot about it.
Do you think it'll eventually eventually get to the point where humanity's just eating.
We talked about that.
Did we talk? We did talk about that.
But yeah, well, they're just eating sort of the base nutrient stuff. That is going to depend more on what happens with the environment, how we treat it because of poisons, water level, a bunch of other factors. But I don't think it'll be a cultural thing. Like, I think we'll prefer to eat things either grown or raised.
I find it funny that we're having this conversation about like what meat is acceptable to eat.
Talk about what vegetables are acceptable.
Yeah, I mean, no, we're not.
Talk about it.
Well, I personally think we should be eating more vegetables than meat. I mean,
I agree with that, but I'm gonna make that nutrient thing. But there's ways to raise. There's genetic engineering, there's crossbreeding that you can make fruits and vegetables that have all the same properties as different types of meat. Well, here's the thing. I had a friend whose father worked in a waste treatment plant, treating human waste. There was a river of human solid waste going through that they had to treat, and sometimes it was like they used it to. That's where they picked out things that people threw in the water treatment plant, bicycles, other batons, middle bits. Well, somehow tomatoes started growing from this treated waste. Okay,
oh, really?
It was already slightly treated, but not. It was still basically human waste.
Is this going where I think it's going?
It is. If you're a disgusting mind. Well, one of his coworkers decided to pluck these tomatoes and wash them off, treat them like you would, and eat them. And he said they were like regular, tomatoes. Now here's the thing: because it is waste treatment, he ate those plants because he was aware that where they were in the plumbing or whatever, that they grew up clean. Even if they were dirty on the outside, you had to wash them off. The plant on the inside, because waste is fertilizer. That is what grows up. That is what soil is. It is, dead fecal. It is, decomposing matter. So it can go to the plant thing too. What do plants are clean to eat is because everything's grown from the ground, which is made of the worst stuff. Dirt is the disgusting quote unquote stuff.
The only thing I can think about that of human waste would be coming from homes and businesses is all the chemical cleaner that you would put in the toilet.
That's that too. Yeah.
That would be.
And the other thing is pharmaceuticals. Pharmaceuticals can stay in. There's a whole thing about certain fish have high levels of hormones because of birth control is so commonly used now, and antidepressants too. Basically things that are commonly prescribed to people. Either it's not just from people flushing down their prescription, it's because it's in your system and some of it stays. Waste. Yeah, and it can't be processed out because molecules are so small, there's no filter for blah blah blah, other reasons I don't care. And everything's sort of slightly contaminated. You kind of just have to accept that nothing you eat can be 100% clean because of how it's raised and the state of the world. There's chemicals in the sky, there's chemicals in the ground. Ultimately, I'm not saying you shouldn't be worried about it at all, but you have to be concerned more with the levels. Is this a safe level of disgusting stuff for me to eat?
Well, I did hear a study where they said that they studied nursing women and their breast milk, and it had like compounds that were normally found in jet fuel.
Whoa! Man,
in the breast milk
for the babies.
I don't think that's how it works in humans.
You hope that's not how it works in humans. But yeah, because there's so many. Was it from a certain area, like around an Air Force base or something?
I don't know the details, but I think it was just like some random women. They just asked women who were nursing. And check.
It had to have been a regional thing.
I'm pretty sure. I don't think it was a nationwide study.
Because you know what the next step is?
What?
If it's not a regional thing? Chemtrails. The companies and governments trailing chemicals above us and then giving us rocket babies.
Oh goodness!
Rocket babies is the future.
You're talking about the water vapor lines after gets right?
I'm talking about the chemical trails, sir. Entirely different from the
goodness.
From water vapor accumulating in an area that's been superheated by a large metallic object attracting water molecules that is completely reproducible. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about government programs hiding secret chemicals in their planes for reasons of who knows, because of stuff and things. That is what I'm talking about, sir. Facts. Science facts.
Those aren't facts.
They're a type of fact. Because there's places on the internet that have it. There go. Me quoting it is a fact that it exists somewhere.
We gotta be careful. I think some of our listeners might actually believe them.
I don't know. I don't know about the chemical trails. Okay, can we on a slightly more realistic note of
we were joking
of what is
that
it?
That was called satire.
Planes dropping. What is it? That whenever you flush a toilet in a plane, I think it does go into the plane, but it can only hold so much. Yeah. So they'll drop it out of the air because they tend to fly at such a high.
They don't drop it out of the air.
And it turns to sort of a snow and mush because it's
we don't want to hear this.
And there's been incidents of it hitting people, sort of from blue.
I don't think
snow, blue frosticle, because because it can only hold so much, and because the weight of a plane is so vital that it has to be maintained. Same with think about all those cruises. The water, they can't just store it up and take it. I mean, they could, but they're not gonna, because that's more weight. Think about all the people on those things. So no, it just gets dumped in the ocean. We're just polluting everywhere. We are the pigs of the world. We call pigs dirty because we don't want to look in a mirror. We're terrible.
The world is turning into Animal Farm.
Oh man, it is.
This podcast.
Typical trails.
This episode kind of took a dark turn at the end.
Is it a dark turn? That's a great book.
I don't know. That is a great book.
And food's
for
still
those
good.
of you who have never read Animal Farm.
Maybe we just not to be.
H.G. Wells? No, not H.G. Wells.
No. Animal Farm.
No. Animal Farm was.
You're a bad literarist.
It's 1 a.m. and I've been drinking tequila.
Don't use that as an excuse. He had the smallest.
That's a reason.
He tasted it and had a cup of soda pop. He's
soda pop.
We're old and
George Orwell.
Oh yeah. Oh man, great popcorn.
And that's Orville Redenbacher.
Of course, once he got married.
I don't know why it's funny.
Okay, maybe just like I'm saying, my main thing is it's good to know more about your food. We're always talking about it, so get ready to learn.
So go hunt it yourself. Aim to become a saint, and the world will be a better place.
Oh, that's a pretty good closer.
And drink some Jaegermeister. Yeah.
Oh, so how long?
I think we're good. On time.
That's or you can keep going.
This is it. This is a good episode.
Well, thank you for listening. Hopefully you appreciate the good audio quality. Let us know once again what you thought about the things we talked about, things you'd like us to go more in depth about, things you'd like us to never bring up again.
Yeah.
Please tell us that specifically. Once again, we do have a Patreon up, a Facebook page. Let them know more about that. Anything specific?
Just search on Patreon, Facebook, and on Twitter at Roman Roads Podcast.
With the
Roman Roads Podcast.
Correct. And please like and share. Thanks always.
And are we on Instagram yet? No,
we're not.
No.
Are we gonna get on Instagram?
We have individual Instagram. Do you have Instagram?
No.
Okay, forget the Instagram.
I'm not saying anything against it. Just
I have an Instagram.
Go for it if you want to.
But I hardly ever post. So
make posts. What are we gonna take pictures of? This is a podcast.
Yeah.
And look forward to videos coming soon.
We will have YouTube videos coming up pretty soon. Hopefully that everything works out with our equipment. So if y'all could support us on Patreon, because that'll help us get a little more equipment. That'll help us pay for our time in order to do this, in order to bring this show to you, which we love doing. This is great. I'm having a good time.
Yeah, this is really good. So once again, I am Rhodes. This is
Roman Gilberto Aguilar.
Like that. Join us next time.
Thank you. Peace out.